What's going on, Lock Talk family? It's your boy Jason, and we're back for another YouTube video. It's the start of the week, Money Making Mondays. And hey, man, before I talk about these two NFL games, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. We have been absolutely crushing the YouTube videos. Last time I came up here, I think I went 3 for 4, and I give you the money lines or the spread and the total. So show me some love, man. We've been absolutely killing it in premium. I ended up crushing WNBA, ended our season 32-12. That's a 73% hit rate over the season so far. And we got NBA coming back tomorrow. And if you were with me when I started this YouTube channel, the first things I was doing was NBA game breakdowns. I didn't do anything with props, but I'm looking to do some things with this YouTube channel. So if you want that, just be ready, man. NBA basketball is clearly my best sport with UFC. And of course, MLB. I mean, I'm good in every sport I give out. We crush, but that's why we don't do every sport. I don't do college football. I don't do tennis. I don't do hockey, really. I do soccer, but it's here and there. So let's just get straight into it. But I do want to say one thing. If you guys do want to tap in today, I have a $5 special down below. Just get today's plays for $5 only, a $5 bill, 20 spots. I'm putting this video up kind of late, but it is what it is, man. But let's go. Let's talk about this first game right here. The Ravens against the Buccaneers. I'll say this very simply. The Ravens are definitely, on paper, the better team, quote unquote. I mean, they have some of the strongest weapons. The one thing I'll say, though, is I'm a little concerned, though, in this game with their defense, though. I mean, in terms of the passing defense, they're one of the worst ranked passing defenses in the league. And to be honest, the Buccaneers have one of the best passing offenses. I mean, even though I do believe someone was hurt on the Bucs side. I think Mike Evans was a little hurt, but I'm not sure if he's still out. Let's see. Let's take a look. Okay, he's not on the list, so that's good. This one is pretty important, though. Rashad White, he's questionable, so we'll see if he ends up playing. If not, they still got Bucky. He's very, very good. Obviously, Vita Vea, if he's playing, that'd be huge for them. But yeah, I don't see Mike Evans anymore as a questionable player, so that's super positive for them. They have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, this team has really good offensive weapons and a really strong offensive line. So the big question is, can the Ravens get to Baker Mayfield, who's been absolutely popping off? And can Baker Mayfield exploit this weak pass defense with stars like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? I'd say this is what makes the bet hard. I mean, we obviously have a 3.5 point line. If we go to the line, this line supposedly opened up at 5 points. Obviously, you'd have to bet that probably a lot longer ago, but it's been around 4, 3.5. Obviously, if you want the Bucks, try to get a 4 line. Obviously, don't get a 5 line, don't get a 3 line. 3.5 is past that key number where if the team wins by a field goal. I mean, if the Ravens win by a field goal, the Buccaneers cover that number, and obviously the Buccaneers win, you cover any spread. I will say this again: Ravens, weak pass defense. Buccaneers, strong passing offense. That's one of their main things. Obviously, they can get the run game going. That'll be making it even tougher. But to flip it on the other side, Tampa Bay's run defense has improved a lot over the recent weeks. They've allowed 77.3 rushing yards per game. But I will say this: they haven't really played anyone too tough. They played New Orleans. I mean, Kamara was hurt. New Orleans had a rookie quarterback. I mean, they really couldn't get the offense started at all. They did play Atlanta. They were able to do okay, but I mean, Bijan, all these guys ran all over them, so they did poorly there. They went against Philly. They beat Philly, but I mean, obviously, I mean, that's a pretty good win on them. And then Denver, Detroit, I mean, these are good games over here. Denver's have a really strong running offense. Detroit obviously does, but nonetheless, their run defense has been okay, but I'd say this is a much different type of run attack with obviously Lamar and Derrick Henry. So we'll see how they're going to be able to do today. I mean, they've held teams to 3.9 yards per carry, and this is definitely very critical because the Ravens are the #1 team in rushing DVOA. That's huge. One other thing I'd like to say for the Ravens offense against the Bucs defense is, let's see, I'm going to pull the matchup. All right, so Lamar Jackson has excelled against the zone this season with a pass rate of 120 against this coverage. Tampa Bay runs a lot of zone, man. So can Lamar dust this zone defense? I don't know. This gives, I think, Lamar and the Baltimore offense an edge in the pass game if Tampa Bay does somehow stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. If that, I mean, I think they could definitely give him some problems. But I mean, I think it's always like, Derrick Henry's always going to get the chances and get his done. And same thing with Lamar. They're going to run the ball and they're going to be successful in many spots. But if they could get the pass game going, which I think is very possible, I think Bucs are in some trouble, man, to be honest. But with that all being said, where do we lean in this game, man? I think it's so tough. Obviously, we see the line. Public's all over Baltimore. I get it. Tampa Bay, are they the sharp side? It seems like a sharp pro type battle. I mean, who do you put your trust in? You put the trust in Baltimore on the road, or do you put your trust in the Bucs, man? The Bucs have looked hot, but who have they played recently at least? I mean, they beat New Orleans and Atlanta, and then Philly. I mean, these three teams are okay, man. I think Philly's a little overrated. Atlanta's had some good wins, but I mean, you saw what happened to them against the Seahawks. Seahawks killed them, and then this game was a give-me game. I mean, New Orleans got absolutely dusted. But I will say this. They put 27 points on them. I mean, we'll see. So, but in this game, I do think Tampa Bay, at least in the beginning parts of the game, I think they have a chance to really catch a lead maybe. I think plus 3.5 is a great number. If you get plus 4, obviously get that. But my lean is with the Bucs spread and the game total. This could definitely be a high-scoring affair. As I pointed out, Bucs have a really good pass offense. Baltimore, terrible pass defense. Baltimore has a good run game. Tampa Bay has a pretty decent run defense, but Lamar definitely has so many options. I think they'll definitely score on Tampa, especially if New Orleans and their rookie quarterback and their banged-up offense was able to score on them. So I do have some props I do like in this game, but I'll lean with the Bucs and the over. Those are my 2 picks for this game right here. But all right, let's move quickly. Let's go to the next game. We got the Los Angeles Chargers against the Arizona Cardinals. This game's a little bit tougher for me though, but I'll say Chargers minus 1.5 point favorites, slight favorites. There are some offensive struggles and injury issues. Quentin Johnson, Mike Williams are out. Justin Herbert does have a lot of options though. But the Chargers does have I say like they have a pretty decent run game. They make games low scoring, but we'll see. Their favorites on the road against the Cardinals. Cardinals I definitely think are live underdogs. I mean, Kyler Murray's mobility poses definitely some threats to the Charger defense. Arizona's run game is ranked 2nd in the NFL with 5.1 yards per carry. But I'll say this, their defense has also struggled at times. But they face some pretty elite offenses. I mean, let's take a look at their games. They win against Green Bay, San Fran, Washington, Detroit. I mean, this is a gauntlet of good offenses right here. But in terms of the injuries, Quentin Johnson obviously injured for the Chargers side. Arizona has a pretty strong rush attack. I mean, but I think also Kyler Murray's mobility is what will give the Chargers problems if they have any problems. They've had some trouble containing mobile quarterbacks. And Kyler Murray's probably one of the best. I mean, he's rushed over for 40 yards in multiple games this season and it's extended plays and avoided, getting sacked, etc. I will say this, though. The Chargers, I mean, their strength has allowed the fewest points in the league so far this season. I mean, they have a pretty strong defense. But it's been, in my opinion, inflated by their favorable schedule. I mean, they went against Denver. KC, even though obviously they're known for their offense, I mean, they're a pretty low-scoring team. Pittsburgh, not a lot of offense. Carolina, obviously terrible. I mean, the Vegas Raiders, not that great either. So, I mean, besides probably KC, every other team has not been a strong offensive juggernaut type team. But we'll see. Arizona, obviously, they have some weapons. I do believe they do have some pretty big injuries. I don't know if he's still hurt. Let me see. No. Okay. All right. So, no big injuries on the offensive side. I mean, they have some offensive linemen hurt. But for the most part, I will say this. Chargers, Joey Bosa, he's out. That's a big loss for them, which makes sense. Gus Edwards, he's still out. Let's take a look at some other guys. Yeah, other than that, no one really big other than Quentin Johnson, who I mentioned. Obviously, I said Mike Williams, but Mike Williams is on the Jets. I'm sorry. So in this game, man, I mean, it's going to be a tough one. I do kind of want to lean with Arizona. I think Arizona definitely has a chance to win this game, cover the number. I do think they're offense with Kyler Murray. I mean, he's going to have, I think, a lot of opportunities to do well, especially with the absence of Joey Bosa on the Chargers side. But I also think that the Chargers can get the job done too. Arizona does not have a good defense at all. But we'll see. I mean, they have some guys out. But with that being said, Chargers will have a pretty good defense. I don't know. Let me see. I'm just trying to think. It's such a tough game, but I'll probably lean with Arizona for an over-under. I kind of lean with an under. I do think, because the Chargers defense is pretty good and the lack of offense of the Chargers, this could be a lower scoring affair. Total is pretty low, 44.5 for the Arizona Cardinals game. They've gone to the over 70% of their games. But yeah, I think in a pick'em type spot, with being at home, I do think, the Cardinals can make some noise in this game. But tough game though, I would say. I think there's a lot better plays for props, but we'll probably have to talk about it in another video or in premium. So again, guys, thank you so much for tapping in. And before I do go off, you've been sticking around. I'm going to give you guys something from my boys at Daily Grind Fantasy. They are a DFS optimizer, and you can use them to find the best lines for a given book, or DFS app, obviously Parlay, Play, Price, you can see on the top of the screen. And if you go right here, you go to the positive EV, and let's look at some of the plays, man. We go by sport. Obviously, there's no NBA yet, but if you guys do want to use it, hit the link in the description. Use code LOCK, get 25% off your first try or your first trial on using DGF. Only for my followers are up here. But if we go to Parlay Play, which I also have a $100 deposit bonus for you guys, if you go down below, they have both Lamar Jackson and positive EV to throw over 245 passing yards. As you can see, plus 125 on Parlay Play. But they have even on some other books, minus 124, plus 135. And if we take a look at some other ones, let's see. I think that one's pretty good. As I mentioned, the Bucs pass defense could give Lamar some spots to throw the ball. And then let's see some other lines right here. Obviously, these are negative EV, but sometimes you can find some mispriced lines again. So another one, I think, let's see. Right here, there's some positive EV in this one as well. Chris Godwin over basically a touchdown. He's plus 140 on here, and he's plus 162 on some other books. The other books have him at a much higher price. But I do like Lamar Jackson. I think you could probably get him at a more advantageous line here. And then you could probably go on some other of these lines, go do your research, but they help you optimize it, whether it's here or even on some other DFS apps. Hit up Daily Grind Fantasy. Go look at some of these lines. Obviously, you can already see some positive EV bets already right here for the NBA. But go hit up my boys, man. Go try them out. We'll be dropping more videos with Daily Grind Fantasy, especially when the NBA comes back. So make sure you use my code down below. And let's get it rocking and rolling, baby. I'll see you guys in the next one.